We'll start in a couple of minutes. So today we'll be revising the chapter on practical chemistry. It is not part of the reduced syllabus, but it is very much connected with all the chapters. Therefore, we will revise in brief what is important, and there is no need to panic. It is very easy. Okay, we'll start. Okay, practical chemistry. So in practical chemistry, what is important is that we should recognize or identify the various compounds, okay, that are there in this reaction. Okay, for example, within our syllabus we are more interested in the recognition and identification of the gases. Okay, so basically the gases that are covered in our syllabus, they are in three categories. One are the neutral gases. So under the neutral gases we have hydrogen, oxygen and water vapor. Okay, these three are the neutral gases. All of these three are colorless. Okay, they are odorless. Hydrogen, you know that in the pure form, it will give which kind of flame? Pale blue. Pale blue flame. Okay. But when we are mixing it with air, okay, or oxygen, so what kind of sound it will produce? Hydrogen gas?
The pop sound.
Pop sound will come. Okay. So these are the characteristic with air. Okay, these are the characteristics. So here we are not going into the preparation part. The preparation of these gases is there in your chapters. Okay, in practical chemistry, what is important here is that how you will identify the gas. So here hydrogen, for the hydrogen, it is the colorless, odorless. Pure hydrogen will burn with a pale blue flame and it will produce a pop sound with air. Oxygen, if you put a like a matchstick, when we burn the matchstick and you put off that matchstick, so that red red like amber, that color will be still there in that matchstick, no? So if you put that matchstick close to this oxygen gas, it will rekindle the flame. Okay, that is again the fire will start burning, so that is known as the rekindle of the glowing splinter. Okay, here splinter is nothing but matchstick. Okay, glowing red glow will be there now. Okay, and it will rekindle that fire. So rekindle of growing of the glowing splinter. Another chemical identification of the oxygen will be using the alkaline pyrogalol. Okay, need not go too much into what is the chemical, this one, that one. So alkaline pyrogalol, it is colorless, and from no color it will become the dark brown color. Okay, so these are the two simple identifications of the oxygen gas. Water vapor, for water vapor we use the two basic reaction. When we take the anhydrous copper sulfate, okay, anhydrous means there will be no water, so that will be white in color. But once it takes up the water, okay, the hydrated form of copper sulfate, okay, 5H2O, it will be the blue in color. Okay, so this is one, how we can identify that water vapor is there or not. Other simple one is using the cobalt chloride. Cobalt chloride salt, it will be the blue in color, an anhydrous form. But when cobalt chloride takes up water, that is the water of hydration, it will become the pink color. Okay, these are the simple identifications how we can do that, whatever the gas is coming, whether it is water vapor, oxygen or hydrogen. Okay, so this is about the neutral gases. Okay, so neutral gases, litmus, it will not change the color, correct? The other set of examples are the acidic gases. So in your syllabus there are the six acidic gases. So what the acidic gases will do, they will turn the blue litmus to which color? Blue litmus to
Set red.
red color. Okay, that is the acidic. So the examples of the acidic gases are carbon dioxide. All of you know carbon dioxide is acidic gas. Sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen dioxide, hydrochloric acid, and chlorine gas. Okay, these are the 6 examples of the acidic gases. Okay, carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is also colorless, odorless. Sulfur dioxide, colorless, but the smell is of burning sulfur. Hydrogen sulfide, it is also colorless, but it has a characteristic smell, that is a rotten egg smell. Okay, very pungent rotten egg smell, hydrogen sulfide. Okay, nitrogen dioxide is also colorless. Sorry, it is the reddish brown color. Nitrogen dioxide brown color. Okay, and it is having the irritating smell. HCl will form the fumes, hydrochloric acid. It is also colorless, but it is having a pungent and choking, okay, difficult to breathe kind of choking effect. Chlorine is having the color. It is greenish yellow. Okay, greenish yellow color. Chlorine, it is also pungent and choking. Okay. 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 So 6 acidic gases are there: carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen dioxide, HCl, and chlorine. Okay. Now, important part here is how can we identify that it is a carbon dioxide or not? It is the most famous, most commonly used method, turns lime water milky carbon dioxide, right? So lime water, calcium hydroxide will convert into the calcium carbonate. So we'll not worry about the equation writing here. Lime water turns milky. Okay. But if you bubble more carbon dioxide, what is going to happen? This calcium carbonate, which is insoluble, it will become the calcium bicarbonate. Okay. Excess carbon dioxide, then what you get? Calcium CaHCO3. Okay, twice. Calcium bicarbonate, and it is soluble. But it has no effect on acidified K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, or on potassium permanganate. We will see why this is important. Okay, why we are mentioning this one? It is having no effect on acidified potassium dichromate or potassium permanganate. Okay, so the best way, how what we are using, carbon dioxide is turns lime water milky. But what happens is, if you pass sulfur dioxide through lime water, it will also become milky. So it is giving positive reaction with lime water. Lime water turns milky, and also if you put excess sulfur dioxide, then it will this milky precipitate will disappear. It will become soluble. Okay, so that means between sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide there is a confusion. Okay, so in order to clear, okay, what we will do next reaction, we will pass it through the acidified potassium dichromate or potassium permanganate. So for example, acidified potassium dichromate is there. So here it will change the color from the orange or yellow to the green color. And in the case of potassium permanganate, the color is going to change from the pink to colorless. Okay, that is the reactions. So how we can distinguish between carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide? Both will turn the lime water milky, but carbon dioxide will not show any effect on potassium dichromate and potassium permanganate. But sulfur dioxide, it is going to change the color of the acidified potassium dichromate from orange yellow to green and potassium permanganate from pink to colorless. Okay, that is the distinguishing reaction what we say. Next, this hydrogen sulfide, that is very easy to identify because of this very peculiar smell it has. That is the rotten egg smell. Immediately that smell is there, you can tell this is the hydrogen sulfide, pakka hydrogen sulfide. Okay. Now, what reaction it is showing? Positive reaction with lead acetate paper. Lead acetate paper, it will turn to black. Okay. Also, similarly, lead nitrate solution will turn to black. Okay. So that is the positive reaction with hydrogen sulfide, but the sulfur dioxide, it is the negative reaction. I am writing here, it is a bit of shortage of space. Negative reaction with the lead acetate. Okay. So how we can distinguish carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide? By potassium dichromate permanganate, sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide by using the lead acetate reaction. Next, nitrogen dioxide. This is also immediately it can be identified because of the peculiar color of the flame of the fumes. Reddish brown fumes will come, nitrogen dioxide. Okay. So here there are the two reactions of this, for this nitrogen dioxide. It will liberate the violet vapor of iodine from potassium iodide. So from potassium iodide, it is going to liberate the violet vapors. Okay. Also, acidified ferrous sulfate will turn to brown. So here the thing is, don't get much anxiety or anything. Okay, here basic what is the importance of this chapter? Whatever the synthesis or preparation parts are already given in your chapters, like in that hydrogen chapter, the effect of thermal decomposition, all these are there. Okay, here our idea is that in a practical laboratory, okay, like you have written your practical, okay, so how we identify visually by smell or by simple color, these kind of things, how we identify what is the nature of the gas, which gas it is. Okay, so one is a neutral gas, other is acidic gas. Okay, so here carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide from hydrogen sulfide. Okay, next nitrogen dioxide, immediately nitrogen dioxide using the brown color we can tell. HCl, for HCl the best one is we dip the glass rod in ammonia, and when we bring that glass rod close to this bottle or tube that is having HCl, because HCl will make the fumes, the reaction between HCl and ammonia will give the ammonium chloride. Okay, so that will appear as white dense fume. So rod in ammonia, okay, with this HCl fumes, will give the white dense fumes, okay, of ammonium chloride. Also similar reaction is with the silver nitrate, okay. Silver nitrate will convert into the white precipitate, and that can be again dissolved with ammonium chloride, okay. Silver chloride will form, that can be dissolved in ammonium chloride. So this is the most best reaction people use, that is rod dipped in ammonia. Simply put it near that HCl tube, you will see white dense fumes are coming, no heating required, nothing. You will get excellent white dense fumes. Next, chlorine. Chlorine, first immediately people will recognize by its greenish yellow color, the chlorine gas, and it has a pungent choking smell. Similar to this HCl, uh, here it will convert the silver nitrate to silver chloride, okay, same like this one. In addition, starch iodide paper, okay, that is nothing but starch with potassium iodide. That paper, when it reacts with chlorine, it will give the black color, okay. Iodine reaction with starch gives black color, but here starch with iodine, that is potassium iodide, it is soluble, but when we are passing chlorine gas, it will give the black color. Okay, so there are these six acidic gases. All of these gases are going to change the blue litmus into the red litmus. Okay, each of them have this. Few of them have very characteristic smell. Okay, burning sulfur, rotten egg. Okay, and some of them have very characteristic color. Nitrogen dioxide is brown, and greenish yellow is for the chlorine. Next, the basic gases. There is only one example, that is the ammonia. Okay, it is colorless, but it is a sharp pungent smell. Okay, so if we dip a rod in concentrated HCl and bring it close to this ammonia fumes, then same white dense fumes will come. Okay, with concentrated HCl, it will give the white dense ammonium chloride fumes. There is a special reagent, you don't have to remember now, that is called the Nessler's reagent. Okay, that will change from colorless to brown color. With copper sulfate, okay, the reaction with copper sulfate, it is going to change to the pale blue precipitate. But if excess ammonia is given, this pale blue precipitate is going to dissolve into a dark blue solution. Okay, so this is the basic how we can recognize or identify the gases. There are the 10 gases are there in your chapter. 3 neutral gases, 6 acidic gases, and 1 basic gas. Okay, now how it is useful? For example, as part of your practical, action of heat or thermal decomposition, okay, in your chemical reactions chapter, thermal decomposition, if you look at the decomposition of the copper carbonate, thermal decomposition, it gives rise to oxide of copper and carbon dioxide gas is released. So the light green, this copper carbonate is a light green, is converted into copper oxide, which is black. The gas evolved is carbon dioxide. How we will know that this is carbon dioxide? So we have discussed some reactions before this, no? This one. Okay. Turns the lime water milky. If you put more excess of carbon dioxide, if it is passed through, it will become bicarbonate, which is soluble. It will not have effect on acidified dichromate and potassium permanganate. Okay, that becomes applicable here. Using that properties, we can identify that the gas that is evolved is carbon dioxide. Okay. Similarly, for example, zinc carbonate on heating gives rise to the zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide is released. So this is a light amorphous white color, and that is converted into zinc oxide, which will be yellow when it is hot, and it will become white when it is cold. Okay. And similarly, the gas that is released is carbon dioxide. How we can know? Turns the lime water milky, excess carbon dioxide giving bicarbonate that will be soluble, does not have any effect on potassium dichromate, potassium permanganate. Okay. Now, so you are all following. Is it, it may be slightly, you may feel that I am going fast, but this chapter you don't have to too much, just you follow like once or twice is more than sufficient. Okay, this is not part of your reduced syllabus, but it is important, and it is related with all the other chapters. In your next coming 10th class also it will have good weightage. That is why we thought, okay, at least one class we will cover for it. Sodium carbonate. Okay, this one is a washing soda. Washing soda. Thermal decomposition of the washing soda to give the sodium carbonate and the water vapor. Okay, how can we identify this water vapor? The gas evolved is water vapor.
So by testing it with litmus paper.
Yeah, only because it is neutral gas. First we will see with litmus paper. Yes, that is good. We will use litmus paper. Okay, so it will not change the color. So you know that it is a neutral gas. And within neutral gas, for example, we are restricting ourselves to these three gases: hydrogen, oxygen, and water vapor. So then, if you are passing through this copper sulfate anhydrous, it will become copper sulfate pentahydrate that gives a blue color. So if the color of this copper sulfate is becoming blue, that means it is water vapor. If the color of cobalt chloride is changing from blue to pink, okay, that is a very severe change. Blue to pink is very severe change. So this copper chloride anhydrous is converting to the hydrated copper chloride pink color. That is also another confirmation that it is water vapor. So these two ones can be used to identify that the gas that is released in the reaction is water vapor or not. Okay. Similarly, for example, copper nitrate, hexahydrate, on heating gives rise to copper nitrate, and it will release that water of hydration. Okay, this copper nitrate is bluish green crystal that is converted into the bluish green mass Further, if we heat this copper nitrate anhydrous, it is going to give rise to the copper oxide. You know the color is going to be copper oxide is black color, and it is the nitrogen dioxide gas and oxygen gas. Two gases are released here. Okay, so how can we identify that it is the nitrogen dioxide? Color will be,
So brown.
yes, brown. So brown or reddish brown. Okay, that is the nitrogen dioxide. Very characteristic color. Dense color will come. No, it's very difficult to mistake it. Very pakka color it will come. Reddish brown nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen, of course, that glowing splinter. Glowing splinter will start burning. That is for the oxygen. Okay, or alkaline pyrogalol can be used. That will become into the brown color. But here this is also brown color nitrogen dioxide. So pyrogalol may be somewhat difficult. Okay, so here what you will use is this one nitrogen dioxide by this one and oxygen by burning splinter. Okay, so similarly, say HCl gas, the release of the HCl gas, ammonium chloride on giving rise to the ammonia plus HCl. Okay, so this ammonium chloride is a white crystalline. Both of these are gases, ammonia gas and HCl. So this is a basic gas, this is a acidic gas. So we want to identify the gas. If you how can we identify the ammonia gas? Sharp pungent odor. With the concentrated HCl, it will give white dense fume. But here already you are having this HCl is also there in that reaction. So we will not use this one. We will go for Nessler's reagent maybe. Okay, colorless will turn to brown, or copper sulfate turning to the pale blue color. So in this way, what is happening in the reaction, which type of gas is released, okay, that can be identified by using these kind of identification features. Okay, this is like some examples with the thermal decomposition. Action of dilute sulfuric acid. Maybe slightly we are overshooting the time. Is it okay? Another 5 minutes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, action of diluted sulfuric acid. Till here it is sufficient for you. Okay, in this chapter, that the flame test, hardness of water, all those things are there. Okay, but whatever is there in your syllabus, like in the water chapter is there, that much is good enough. Don't get too much panic and spend too much time on this practical chemistry part. Okay, practical chemistry part, what I am telling today is more than sufficient. Okay, just because if you just follow exactly is given in the textbook, you may feel like, head will become very heavy. Okay, so just you follow in the way I have told. Neutral gases, just three are like this, you break it down in this way, and logically you put it how to distinguish these gases. Okay, uh, and then once we know that how the basic characterization, how to identify the gas, then these so many reactions are there by the action of heat or dilute acid. So for example, reaction of the magnesium metal with dilute sulfuric acid will give rise to what? Magnesium sulfate and which gas?
The hydrogen.
Hydrogen gas. Okay. Similarly, zinc also will react with dilute acid to give rise to zinc sulfate and hydrogen gas.
Hydrogen.
Okay, so here this is the action of on the reactive metals. Reactive metals to release the hydrogen gas. Similarly, sodium carbonate reacting with the dilute sulfuric acid. Sodium carbonate, sulfuric acid. It will give rise to the sodium sulfate. Okay. Here water and
Carbon dioxide.
carbon dioxide will come. Okay. So water vapor and carbon dioxide gas will be released. Similarly, we will take sodium bicarbonate reaction with sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. Okay, same sodium sulfate will form, water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so the reaction is either with carbonate or bicarbonate. In both cases, you will get the water and carbon dioxide. Okay, the release here is we are talking about the release of the carbon dioxide. Okay, even thermal decomposition also give rise to the carbon dioxide, carbonates and bicarbonates. Next, iron sulfide with sulfuric acid. Okay, what you are expecting? Iron sulfide, sulfuric acid. Ferrous sulfate plus here the gas that is released is hydrogen sulfide gas. The smell of the hydrogen sulfide gas is very
Like
characteristic.
rotten egg.
Rotten egg, yes, that is the characteristic smell. Okay, rotten egg, hydrogen sulfide. Okay, this place is smelling like hydrogen sulfide, means you should understand it is rotten egg smell. Okay, sulfide. Next, only one reaction that is remaining is release of the sulfur dioxide. Sodium, what is this? Sodium
Sulfite.
sulfite. Yes, sodium sulfite is reacting with the sulfuric acid to give rise to sodium. Sodium, what is this?
Sulfate.
Sulfate. Sodium sulfate, water and sulfur dioxide. Okay, so sulfite is reacting with the sulfuric acid to give sulfate, water vapor and sulfur dioxide. Okay, same, instead of sodium we will write a potassium sulfite reacting with the sulfuric acid to give rise to potassium sulfate and water and sulfur dioxide. So this reaction is with the sulfite to release the sulfur dioxide gas. Okay, I think it is more than sufficient. Okay, uh, don't concern too much yourself here. Okay, most of the things are interrelated with the earlier chapters. Okay, so this much, if you 50% also if you remember, that is good enough. Okay, any doubts you have, anything you want to ask, you may ask.
Sir, what are positive and negative reactions?
Positive and negative reactions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, positive and negative reactions. In what context do you have come across negative and positive reactions?
Sir, in this class only acidic gases you were teaching. No? In that one reaction you told it is positive.
Okay, when we are telling it is a positive means it will give that particular text is positive. Like for example, this lead acetate paper turns to black. Okay, this is a kind of what you can tell an indicator kind of reaction. Okay, so potassium dichromate. So orange yellow color it will be there. It is going to convert to green color. If this change happens, then we will say it is a positive reaction. That is only the meaning, Lime water turns milky. Okay, that means this particular gas, carbon dioxide, is showing positive reaction with lime water. That is a way of saying the thing. Okay, it shows positive reaction. So instead of telling the whole sentence, lime water turns milky when it is carbon dioxide is bubbled through lime water. Instead of telling the whole long sentence, the people what will tell? They will tell that carbon dioxide shows a positive test with lime water. Okay, so that is lime water is going to turn milky. That is a meaning. Any other question? Okay. So all the best to everyone. Okay. Prepare well. Any doubts you have, you are free to ask. Okay. You can continue with your preparation. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.